everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Physical Media. This is the weekly show where we talk all things in the world of physical media and all things in the world of film. I'll be your host today, John. And this week we got some pretty big announcements. We got the January 2025 announcements for the Criterion Collection. We got some confirmation for some other 4K Blu-rays, and we also had some 4K Blu-rays canceled. So let's start it off with the good. We'll start it off with Criterion, what they'll be bringing to us in the new year of 2025. And it's a little bit slow, if I'm being honest. Nothing that really blew me away or knocked my socks off. The first one that we're going to be talking about is James Stewart's Winchester 73. And this is one of the later career James Stewart movies. Actually, one I've never seen. That's going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. The Grifters, this came out in 1990. This is going to be coming to 4K as well. And actually, everything for the Criterion Collection for January 2025 is coming to 4K Blu-ray. This one stars Annette Bening, Angelica Houston, and John Cusack. It's another one I haven't seen. So a lot of these movies, honestly, for January 2025, I haven't checked out. Like another one, The Mother and the Whore. Never seen that one. And even a Richard Pryor movie, and I love Richard Pryor. Jojo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. I heard it's a really funny movie. Actually, Rico Gomez, a subscriber here on the channel, emailed me about it and said I should check it out. He said it might not be worth buying, but it's definitely worth checking out. And then the one that I have seen, then this is two movies, and they're another Akira Kurosawa film coming to 4K Blu-ray. One of his most famous films ever, right behind The Seven Samurai. Yojimbo is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray, and its sequel that came out a year later, Sanjuro, it's going to be a double pack with Yojimbo and Sanjuro. Now, I can't remember if this already had a previous release. I know a lot of Akira Kurosawa films have had physical releases. That's one director I'm actually behind on a lot of their movies I have to check out. Obviously, I've seen the big ones like Seven Samurai and Yojimbo, but there's some other holes for Akira Kurosawa I have to fill. You know, he's one of the greatest directors of all time, and it's one of those directors you have to at least go through the cinematography if you're a cinephile. So this is one I'll probably grab on 4K Blu-ray, and, you know, hopefully it's a good one. And I want to know from you guys, are you excited about Criterion's January 2025 announcements, or is that a month where you'll be saving some money? Let me know in the comment section below. And a movie we talked about coming to 4K Blu-ray not that long ago from Kino Lorber is Internal Affairs, starring Richard Gere and Andy Garcia. That movie is fantastic. If you've never seen that movie, I recommend checking it out. I actually watched that movie already twice this year because it's so entertaining, over the top, ridiculous, and you never see Richard Gere play the bad guy, and seeing him play the bad guy and playing it in such a way, it's awesome. It's a fantastic, very, very entertaining movie. You can argue, like, it's not that realistic, and, you know, I get that, but still, if you want to have a good time and just see, like, just watch a movie that you can't believe they went for it, and seeing Richard Gere play this character, I highly recommend Internal Affairs. And that 4K Blu-ray is going to be coming out this December. I think December 17th. So December's looking very crowded as well. And for me, that's a day one purchase just because I love it. And speaking of Kino Lorber, it was announced this past week that the 4K Blu-ray transfer of Lost in Translation, the Sofia Coppola film that came out in 2003 that stars Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. It's actually my favorite Sofia Coppola film. Absolutely love this movie. I couldn't wait for it to come to 4K Blu-ray. Last year, I believe in June, they announced that it was going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. They were working on the transfer. No official release or anything. Kino does this sometimes. Bad Lieutenant, it took them 2 years after they announced that it was going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray for it to actually come to 4K Blu-ray. So I assume that's what was going on with this. And then Kino Lorber dropped this little bit of news on us. They have canceled that transfer, and they even released a statement as to why. And this is what Kino wrote. "We didn't lose the rights. We dropped it from our schedule. It was becoming very complicated to release with lots of people to please. We waited 2 years. Can't wait any longer." So that actually sounds pretty aggressive coming from Kino. It sounds like they're frustrated, and I'm not too sure if they're frustrated with, like, Sofia Coppola, they're frustrated with the original studio, or what, but it sounds like there was just too many people pulling at it, wanted to make certain decisions. I don't know if it was a financial issue, but Kino Lorber just said, fuck it, we're not doing it anymore. We're just going to drop it from our schedule. You guys handle this, and it's really unfortunate for the people who love that movie and were looking forward to it, because the Blu-ray is pretty old. It's fine, but it's nothing special. I was just really excited to see that in 4K Blu-ray, and it's going to be at least another 2 years at the minimum before we get it. And now you got to worry about the transfer itself. It sounds like Kino Lorber were willing to do the work, but some other reason, I don't know who, it would be all speculation, but that tweet sounds pretty damn, like, what do they call them now? X's? I have no idea. Either way, it's a tweet to me. That sounds like pure frustration from me. Like, somebody there was just like, we can't do this anymore. There's too many people asking too many questions that want answers that we can't provide, or, you know, they want to make the decisions. Meanwhile, we're willing to do this work, and that's very frustrating. And, you know, unfortunately, that's just kind of how a lot of businesses work. A lot of people want to have a say, and just too many hands in the kitchen, when really Kino Lorber were the ones that probably wanted to do the transfer, and They just couldn't do it. It didn't work out. And they also announced, I don't know if this was announced, but Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is another one that they were talking about, also got canceled, and that's very disappointing. A lot of people probably don't remember that movie as much as they remember Lost in Translation. That's the first film from Guy Ritchie, and it's funny, when I first watched that movie, I actually had to watch it with subtitles, because I don't know what the accent's called. I think it's called a Cockney accent, but I watched with the subtitles. That movie is great. If you love Guy Ritchie movies and you love Snatch and you want to watch it from the beginning, definitely check out Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Unfortunately, you won't be able to check it out on 4K Blu-ray. So there was those two cancellations this week, and something that was announced after I recorded last week's show. It was announced that Babe and Babe Pig in the City are both going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. And strangely enough, the sequel, Babe Pig in the City from 1998, was actually directed by George Miller, who directed the Mad Max movies. I always found that very strange because he didn't direct the original one. So those are going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. I haven't seen the Babe movies in years. I used to have a very distinct memory of like a dollhouse in that movie that just would always pop up in my mind when I was a kid from the first time I saw Babe, because it came out. I was a relatively young kid, so very impressionable, and a talking pig is always entertaining to a kid. And I'm excited for those movies to come to 4K Blu-ray. I haven't seen them in, at the bare minimum, 25 years, but looking forward to checking those out again. I know people are definitely excited for the Babe movies to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. Umbrella Entertainment, which we don't really talk too much here on the channel, but they have a 4K Blu-ray coming out that I want to talk about. This is coming out in February. The Joaquin Phoenix film, I think from 2017, You Were Never Really Here, is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. That movie is violent as hell in a very realistic way. That's actually one of Joaquin Phoenix's better films. I remember when that movie came out, I thought it was great. I haven't seen it since, so this is one I actually might buy on 4K Blu-ray. I'm interested in that. And they also announced now this is only a Blu-ray, and it's The Crying Game is going to be coming to just regular old-fashioned Blu-ray with a new restoration. Haven't seen that movie in years as well. So, you know, Umbrella looks like they have a pretty good February lineup that has me interested in it, so I might grab some of those Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays. We'll have to wait and see. And it's also been rumored that the 1968 film Bullet is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. Now, Bullet is the Steve McQueen film, one of the most famous films of all time, mainly because of the car in that movie and the chase in that movie going through the San Francisco hills. And it's one that my Uncle Mike loved, and I remember during the pandemic, he actually sent me the DVD for it to check out. Now, that DVD is obviously very, very dated, but that's one of the most famous movies ever, so, of course, especially of the 1960s, I hope that movie's coming to 4K Blu-ray. At the current time, that movie is just rumored to be coming to 4K Blu-ray, so we'll just have to wait and see with that one. Also, the #1 movie at the box office this week is Terrifier 3, and unlike Terrifier 1 and 2, you know, where the physical releases have kind of been slow rolling out, especially with Terrifier 1 coming to 4K Blu-ray, we already know that Terrifier 3 is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. We already saw the artwork for it, and I know people are really excited about this because this movie is doing amazing at the box office, which you just love to see, even though it's dominating movies like The Joker, Folie à Deux, and, you know, other movies like that. You know, the box office itself hasn't been really doing too great recently, so seeing something like this, Terrifier 3, even though it's a film series I don't absolutely love, I still love seeing a movie doing great at the box office. It has its fans. It's just nice to see a small indie film made on such a small budget do better than these movies that get hundreds of $millions thrown at them for absolutely no reason, just because, you know, the main studios are kind of out of touch at this point, especially when it comes to physical media and even with theaters. I don't think they understand what they're doing. They're taking ideas from people that they're giving way too much money to. It's just your classic corporation stuff, and you can just see it reflected in movies like that Warner Brothers. Look at what Warner Brothers is doing with Joker Folie à Deux. Releasing that movie, you know, not a lot of people were asking for that sequel, but the guys who make the decisions there, they saw that the original Joker made so much money, they're like, hey, a sequel's guaranteed to do that too. Not necessarily, and you even twisted the arms of the people who made the original one, like Todd Phillips. He didn't want to come back for that. If you guys remember when that movie was originally released back in the day, in 2019, like, there was going to be no sequel. This was going to be a standalone film, and I think they ended that movie perfectly, but money talks, and this is what studios do. They throw hundreds of $millions. Come on, make the movie. It's going to make movie. It's going to make us all money, right? It's going to make us all rich. Not true. Not true at all. And then this movie was so badly received that no one wanted to see it. Now you get a movie like Terrifier. I don't know what the combined budget of all three of these movies are, but they've all been profitable. The horror genre itself is very profitable. The movies themselves don't need to be made for a lot of money. They usually don't have big-time actors. People are interested in the stories. The plots usually get a director on the rise. franchise, and they put all of their heart and soul into these horror films, and you just see them doing so well at the box office. I mean, I really wish the major studios would take a lesson from this, but unfortunately, they will just end up ruining it as well. So it's the difference between a major studio putting out a 4K Blu-ray and a boutique label putting out a 4K Blu-ray. The boutique label is always going to put a lot more care into it than the major studio, just because there's too many hands in the kitchen, and you just see it all the time, and it just gets very depressing. So I didn't want to depress you guys, but I just want to go on that little rant, even though I am excited that Terrifier 3 is coming to 4K Blu-ray. Maybe that's when I'll finally check it out. This weekend, at the time you guys are seeing this, I already saw that new Saturday Night Live movie. That's what I'm really interested in seeing. So I'm seeing that on Friday with my wife. You also got Smile 2 coming out, which I'm really excited about because I really enjoyed the original Smile. So we got a lot of movies coming out. This is one of my favorite times of the year, spooky season. And we also get a lot of the studios releasing the films that they expect to be their best films of the year. So I get really excited around this time of the year. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about this upcoming week, we also have the Deadpool and Wolverine 4K Blu-rays coming out. And I can't believe they didn't really drop the price. They dropped the price of the standard edition below $30. But those 4K Steelbooks, I just checked before I started recording, still $55 to pre-order at Walmart. That is absolutely crazy. So there's no way I could pre-order that on 4K Blu-ray. I cannot justify those prices because these are the lessons that the studios will take, especially a studio like Disney that wants money no matter what. They'll sell their souls for money. They don't care. They're Disney. If they see people buying these Deadpool and Wolverine 4K Steelbooks for that price, it's like the same thing with the major, I don't know what they call it at AMC, but whenever they release, I think they call it blockbuster pricing. So the big movies, when they get released in theaters, they charge extra money for you to see those movies. They're just trying to take as much money they can from the people, like the collectors and the people still going to the movies. It's just not a good business model. It's not going to pay off, and unfortunately, we're going to suffer if they see us buying these 4K Steelbooks at that price. There was just no way I could justify buying Deadpool and Wolverine Steelbooks, despite the fact that I love them, at that price. No way. And of course, studios also love to re-release these steelbooks, so don't be surprised if in a year these are on sale for about $31 with a re-release through Walmart. I wouldn't be shocked at all. But either way, that's just a crazy price. Hopefully, like the day before release, they dip really low. But I think they've all sold out. I'm not entirely sure. Are you guys going to be picking up the Deadpool and Wolverine 4K Steelbooks? Let me know in the comments section below. This week, I won't be reviewing that or Twisters on 4K Blu-ray. Those are major studio releases. Those will always go on sale at some point. I will be picking up those Signs, Ghost on 4K Blu-ray, and of course, The Sixth Sense on 4K Blu-ray. I'm going to try and have reviews for all of them. If not, they will carry over to the following week. You'll also see my 4K Blu-ray review this upcoming week for Brick on 4K Blu-ray that just came out from Kino Lorber. That was on sale for $20 on Amazon. I'm not too sure why, but you'll see my review, and we'll talk a little bit more about that then. But that's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk Physical Media. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. We also have channel membership, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo and Jason Martin, or even a channel director like Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, a buddy of mine, and also Mr. Smelly Potato, another buddy of mine, and John Doe Juggalo, also a great friend of mine. Him and Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews have some great physical media channels you should check out. Definitely give them a subscribe. I promise you, you will not regret it. But if you got no money to throw away, don't worry about it at all. We just hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.